what if we have two-digit multiplier? So the same thing what we did with our single-digit multiplier is it's exactly the same thing. Okay, we're just going to end up having two-digit in our multiplier. So let's say, for example, we have 62 times 32 equals. So the easiest way to do, again, using our boxes or our, okay. So 60, how do we expand 60? That will be 60 plus 2, and we expand 30 so that the one on the top, our factor on the top goes on the top, and our factor on the bottom goes on the side. So 32, that will be 30 plus 2. Because we have two digits in 62, therefore we're going to make two equal parts, and we have two numbers right here, or two digits, so we're going to put two rows also for the 30 and for the 2. Now what we're going to do, we're going to multiply. How are we going to multiply this? The first steps is you're going to multiply 3 times 6. The reason why I'm saying 3 times 6, it's easier to multiply it that way than saying 30 times 6. So let's go ahead and just ignore the 0. All we need to do is copy how many zeros do we see between these two factors. We have 1, 2 zeros, so therefore we're just going to write down 2 zeros, and then we multiply the 3 and the 6. That will be 18. Okay, the next step is we're going to multiply 3 times 2. Here in our factors 30 and 2, we have 1 0, so we'll go ahead and write 1 0 here, and we multiply 3 times 2, which is 6. Now the next step, so we're done with the factors on the 30 right here. Now we're going to move on to the 2's. Again, using distributive property of multiplication, we are going to distribute the 2 to 60. So 2 times 6, or 60, we see 1 0 right here. We're going to write 1 0, and we only multiply 2 times 6, which is 12. We go ahead and write 12. The next one is we're going to multiply 2 times 2. We don't see any zeros here, so we're not going to write any zeros. We're just going to go ahead and multiply 2 times 2, which is 4. So now we're done with our partial product. So this here, these are our partial products. So again, the only thing, the next step is we're going to just add all those partial products. That will be 1,800 plus 60 plus 120 and 4. Make sure you are lining them up. If you are not lining them up, you will not be able to get the correct answer. So 0, 0, 0 plus 4 is 4, and then 6 plus 2, because that's 0 right here. So 6, 7, 8, and then 8 plus 1 is 9, and then we have 1. The answer is 1,984. So this here, if we are using two-digit multiplier. What if we are using three-digit on the top? One of the factors 3 digits, and the other one is 2 digits. It's the same applications, okay? So let's just say we have 623 times 45. Again, you have to remember how you're going to expand this. How are we going to expand 623? So that will be 600. Let me change my color. So that will be 600 plus 20 plus 3. Again, I'd like to draw my box. Okay. Like this. And because we have 3 digits in 623, we're going to have 3 columns. Okay, all I want to do is, you see where you put your plus sign, you can just go ahead and draw a straight line like that. Okay, and then how are we going to expand 45? That will be 40 plus 5. 40 plus 5. So again, because that's where our plus sign, we're going to go ahead and draw a straight line. So we're going to end up having 2 rows. So it's easy. So we're going to go ahead and find our partial products. The same thing what we did earlier, we're going to multiply this number over here using distributive property of multiplication. So the number over here, and we're just going to distribute it one at a time to our numbers. So we have, again, 40 and then 600 right here because we're multiplying, okay? So we're going to count how many zeros do we see? We see 3 zeros. Go ahead and write 3 zeros. And we can go ahead and ignore those zeros. So instead of saying 40 times 600, we're just going to say 4 times 6 because we already wrote those zeros here. So this only applies for multiplication, okay? So we have 4 times 6, that would be 24. So, and we're going to write 24 before the zeros. That right here. And then the next one, we're going to multiply 40 times 20. Again, we see another zeros right here. We see 2 zeros, so we bring down 2 zeros right here, and we go ahead and multiply 4 times 2, which would be 8. The next one is 40 times 3. Again, we're still doing distributive property of multiplication. Here we don't have a 0 in the 3 next to the 3. But we have 1 right here in the 40, so we have 1. We go ahead and write 1, and then we multiply 4 times 3, which would be 12, and we write 12 over here. Now we're done on using the 40. Now we're going to move on and use 5. So again, distributive property of multiplication, we distribute the 5 to this number over here on the top. So 5 times 600, we see 2 zeros, therefore we write 2 zeros. And now we just think of 5 times 6, that will be 30, and we write down 30. Next steps, we will multiply 5 times 20. We see 1 0 between these two factors, so we go ahead and write 1, and then 5 times 2 is 10. We're going to write 10. Okay, like this. So the last one is 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, and that would be it because we don't see any zeros. Now the next steps, because we already know our partial product, we can go ahead and add all of this. So you can write it here if you want. So we can write 24,000, okay, 800. 120, and then we have 3,000. I like to write 0 0 0 and then 3, so my thousands are lining up, okay? And then we have 100 and then 15. You can write 5 here and then 1, and then you add all of them, and that will be our final product. So we have 5 right here, and 2 plus 1, that's not 6, that's 100. 2 plus 1 is 3. 8 plus 1 plus 1 is 10. Group 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8, and the answer is, and then bring down 2 because we don't have any numbers to add to the 2, okay? So now the final product is 28,035. The same thing, the same application. If you have 3 numbers here, 3 digit multipliers, it's the same thing. All you need to do is just add another row on the bottom, okay? If you have any questions, just let me know.